Welcome to Grammar Lesson 14. This week we are going to look at gerunds and participial phrases. Now just to review what a participle is. A participle is a group of words that does not have a subject or a verb and is used as a single one part of speech in the sentence. This week we're going to look at two different kinds. First we're going to look at gerunds and gerund phrases. And then secondly, we're going to look at participle and participial phrases. Now a gerund is a verb form ending in ing that is used as a noun. A gerund can be a subject, a predicate nominative, a direct object, an indirect object, or an object of the preposition. So let's look at these examples. Reading will improve your vocabulary. Reading in this sentence is a gerund. And in this sentence, reading is the subject of the verb will improve. Our second example. One popular summer sport is swimming. In this sentence, swimming is functioning as a gerund. And it is a predicate nominative from the linking verb is, and it identifies what the sport is. And our third example is both mom and dad enjoy cooking together. In this sentence, our gerund is cooking. And cooking is the direct object of the active verb enjoy. So, we can see from these examples, gerund is used as a subject, as a predicate nominative, and a direct object. Okay, I have two more examples for you. Before she decided to become a lawyer, Pam had given teaching thoughtful consideration. In this sentence, our gerund is teaching, and it's functioning as an indirect object of our action verb given. And our last example is after studying, how do you relax? Well, in this sentence, studying is our gerund, and it's functioning as an object of the preposition after. So you can see we have gerunds used as subject, as predicate nominative, as an indirect object, and as an object. All different ways it's been used. Okay, a gerund phrase is a gerund and anything that it has as a complement or any modifier that comes along with it. The entire phrase is used as a noun. Let's look at some examples. The sudden shattering of glass broke the silence. Okay, let's analyze this sentence. Okay, shattering is my gerund. My gerund phrase is the sudden shattering of glass. And in this sentence, that is functioning as one noun, or the subject of the sentence, the subject of the verb broke. So the shattering of the glass is the subject of the verb broke. Our second example. She enjoys hiking in the mountains occasionally. Okay, in analyzing this sentence, we look at that and we say, okay, hiking is a gerund. The gerund phrase is hiking in the mountains occasionally. And it's functioning as a direct object of the action verb enjoy. So here we can see we have one gerund phrase functioning as a subject and another functioning as a direct object. Okay, a participle is a modifier we refer to as a verbal because it is a verb form and it can be used as an adjective. And that, remember, an adjective modifies a noun or a pronoun. So let's look at some examples. To rip. Rip is a verb. In its forms, it could be ripped or ripping. And as a participle, an example could be ripped jeans. Here we have a participle ripped, and it's developed from the verb rip, but in this case it's modifying the noun jeans. The second example is to hunt. Our verb forms are hunt or hunted. As a participle, it would modify a noun, such as hunted animals. Then we have to smoke. the verb form being smoked or smoking, and as a participle, an example could be smoked ham. Okay, now there's two kinds of participles, as you saw from those examples. The first is a present participle ending in an ing. Example, the smiling graduate poses for the photographer. Okay, so smiling is my participle, and it's formed from the verb smile. And in this case, it modifies graduate, the noun graduate. So it's a present participle. Second example, standing and applauding, the audience cheered the cast of the Broadway musical. Okay, our two participles here are standing and applauding. So let's analyze this a little bit. Standing is formed from the verb stand. Applauding is formed from the verb applaud. But in this case, standing, applauding, both modify the noun audience. So they're functioning as present participles. One more type, the past participle. A past participle ends in D or ED, and some are formed irregularly. So let's look at a couple of examples of this. Exhausted, Maria sat down with a loud sigh. Okay, here our past participle is exhausted, formed from the verb exhaust. And we know it's a participle because it is modifying or describing Maria. And our last example, for years the treasure had remained under tons of fallen rock. Okay, here our past participle is fallen. We have it's formed irregularly, fallen. And it's formed from the verb fall, and here it's modifying the noun rock. So we know it's a participle. Okay? So let's look at some participial phrases. The participial phrase starts with the participle and ends with an object. The entire phrase is used as an adjective. Let's look at an example. Climbing the tree, the monkey disappeared into the branch. Okay, so my participle, if I'm going to analyze this sentence, I look at that, climbing the tree. So my present participle is climbing. Okay. The participial phrase is climbing the tree. And it is all functioning as an adjective modifying monkey. So it's a participial phrase. Okay. I was just reading this to make sure I got it all. The participial phrase modifies noun monkey. We said that. The noun tree is a direct object of the present participle climbing. So the tree would be the direct object of climbing. Okay. The last thing that you need to notice here is when you have an introductory participial phrase, you need to make sure that you're putting the comma there, because that's correct punctuation, because it's an introductory phrase. It is dependent on the rest of your sentence. Two extra points we want to make is because a participle comes from a verb, it may be modified by adverbs. So this gets a little confusing. So let's look at this sentence. Voted back into office, the mayor thanked her supporters. Okay, so my past participle is voted. Voted back into office is functioning as one modifier of mayor. So it's a participle modifying mayor. That's the first thing. But then we have back. She's voted back. So back is an adverb, and into office. So both of these, back and into office, modify voted. So let's look at this. Make sure I got everything. The participial phrase modifies the noun mayor. So we have our phrase voted back into office, modifying mayor. The adverb back and the adverb into office both modify voted, the past participle. So it gets pretty confusing there, the different pieces and parts, but that's one thing that you just need to remember, that because a participle comes from a verb, it can be modified by adverbs. And the last point is don't misplace your modifier. If you do, your sentence is going to sound funny. Okay, when writing a sentence that contains a participial phrase, be sure to place the phrase as close as possible to the word it modifies. Okay, let's look at this. I saw my birthday gift peeking through the window. Huh? How can a birthday gift peek through a window? Unless it's an animal. Well, I don't know. Better to say, peeking through the window, I saw my birthday gift. Because who is doing the peeking? It's I. So in this case, your misplaced participle really confuses the sentence. Let's look at a second example. It's kind of funny. The scout spotted the white-tailed deer gathering wood for a campfire. Okay, who is gathering wood? If you say it like this, the white-tailed deer is gathering wood. But we know that's not what's meant, so it has a misplaced participle. So let's look at this. If we said, gathering wood for a campfire, the scout spotted the white-tailed deer, it makes way more sense. Okay, so today we've looked at gerunds, we've looked at gerund participles, we've looked gerund phrases, we've looked at participles, and we've looked at participial phrases. So you're going to do this activity in Canvas. Now, this is a hard skill because they're so picky about what makes a gerund phrase, a participle phrase. So if you make a mistake, don't worry about it, but learn from your mistake. So you're going to finish it in Canvas, then check your answers. Try to understand why you got it wrong. Bring your questions to class on Monday, and then we'll tackle this again on Monday. And of course, I'll check your notes on Monday. So have a great weekend, and I'll see you Monday.